This is the most European of European Coworking Assembly, Coworking Values podcasts available. So today we talk with Szilvia, who is the founder or co-founder of the Hungarian Coworking Association. She also is the communications director for Coworking Europe. And in this great little episode here, we talk about, Szilvia and I compare our 10-minute cities and our lifestyle design around where we kind of ended up not commuting, which is delicious, and the evolution of freelancing and the future of work. So Szilvia took a big dive in 2016 and went freelance, and here we are now. And also the role of co-working in European Coworking Day. So European Coworking Day is on the 6th of May, link in the show notes to that. There's also a link in the show notes to Coworking Europe, and I think there is an early bird ticket available at the moment, so get them while you can. And also we are running the London Coworking Assembly forum called Unreasonable Connection on the 24th of February at Blue Garage in Lewisham, and you can get on the list for that too. So let's get into this show. Hello folks, it's today's Coworking Value podcast, and in our studio today is Szilvia. Szilvia, what are you known for, and what would you like to be known for?
I'm Szilvia Filep from Hungary. I'm the founder of Coworking Hungary Association. I just run a small co-working space in my city, Veszprém, what is in the countryside in Hungary. And I've just joined recently the Coworking Europe conference team.
So you're like the ultimate remote worker, aren't you? You're like living the co-working dream.
Absolutely.
Continental, intercontinental, and in your little village. So just before we came on, we suddenly started talking about 15-minute cities, and that was because, do you want to say where Coworking Europe is this year?
It's going to be in Paris on the 5th and 6th of November this year.
And I got all excited because Paris is like Professor Carlos Moreno, and we'll put a link in the show notes to him, talks about 15-minute city, and Paris is one of those cities that's like 100 miles an hour embraced the 15-minute city. Szilvia and I don't live in Paris, but we have our own little 15-minute cities. Is yours 15 minutes or is it less?
Actually, it's less. It's 10 minutes by walk, by on foot. So I've created my life, my basic needs in a way that everything is just 10 minutes walk from my home.
And this sounds a really obvious question, but what is that like, Szilvia?
It's just amazing. It feels like a luxurious life. So you have really everything, the kids' school, my co-working, the city center, supermarket, my mother-in-law, so help with the kids. They are all 10 minutes walk from my house. It just makes our life so much easier. It just creates lots of free time, what I use well. And so it's not like that I'm just staying at home and cannot do anything with my free time, but it just makes a lot difference versus my previous life when I lived in the capital of Hungary, in Budapest, where I commuted or drove by car 1 or 1.5 hour one way every morning, and then back to the agglomeration of Budapest. So I just thought that if I move to the countryside and not living in the capital, I want to do it differently. I don't want to commute. I don't want to spend too much time with travel. I just want to make my life way easier, and with couple of strategic decisions and couple of investments, because living close to the city center in any city is just that means that you have to pay more for the same flat than if you just on the suburb. So it was some strategic decisions what we made with my husband, but finally we created this life, this 10 minutes city life, and I just love it. I just love it.
What did you used to do in the car for an hour and a half? Like listen to Bon Jovi or?
Oh, pretty much. Listen to the music, the radio, podcasts, or just or just preparing for the day, thinking what kind of things I just need to do that day. It wasn't useless, honestly, that travel time, but for me, it's just the freedom now that I still have that 1 hour or half an hour preparation for the day in the morning when I'm just thinking on what are the most important tasks I need to do, priorities, things like this. But that's my decision that how much time I spend on it. It's not like that there's a traffic jam and I stuck in the traffic in the morning for 1.5 hours instead of just half an hour. So it's freedom.
What I really noticed when we moved from London to Vigo in Galicia is how much less I used my phone. Because my phone, because I was very often standing up in a tube train going from Newbury Park into Liverpool Street. I just got really good at working on my phone, and I got really good at working out where the Wi-Fi would work and where it would not work. So it's like a whole piece of like, I know, existential overhead of how to get work done disappeared, because now, you know, I just walk around the block. And that, I'm going to echo everything you said. Like, I probably in like 6 months, the only time I've got on a bus is to go to the airport to meet someone. I walk all the time, and sometimes we go and see Maria, who lives across the border in Portugal, from the Rural Coworking Project. And I'm going to London at the end of February. And when I go to London now, I don't want to say I can't cope, but I just cannot believe how much of my life I spent standing up in a tube train, hammering at Google Mail or something, you know. But when you made that shift, was it like did it feel like a big decision, or was it like we got to get out of this, or there's a better way to do this, let's go?
It was a big decision, but life brought the answers. So we moved to the countryside from Budapest with my husband when our daughter was born. She was like 1 year old when we made the decision that, we had our individual life before we had the family. That's nice. We lived in Budapest. That was nice at the time, but we have family now. And we just sat down and just discussed it, how we want to live our family life together. And fortunately, we both wanted the same. In my childhood, I was traveling a lot. I've traveled to the school because I wasn't lived in the same city where my school was. When I lived in Budapest, attending to the university, it was the same. I traveled 30-40 minutes one way to get to the university. And my husband was the same. He just went to another city to school. So we really wanted to, also for us to create more time and less travel, but also for our kids. So this is how we've just chosen the elementary school for our kids, that they don't have to travel that much. And the big shift, it was not really the city that we were moving from Budapest to Veszprém, to the countryside, but the work part. So that time when we moved, it was back in 2016. Yeah, 10 years ago. Remote work was not that common in Hungary. So I had to I had to quit. At that time, I was an employee at a big multinational company, and there was no remote option. So I had to quit, and that was the time when I became a freelancer, to be able to create the life I wanted to live.
And the rest is history. But even like 2016 was like, being a freelancer I think, and you can tell me your opinion, but I think that was still early on in the freelancer game, because obviously people have been freelancers for ages. But I was in a meetup in 2010 called Kindred, and we would meet in we'd meet in this new thing in London called a co-working space. And we'd meet every weekday. This group of freelancers would meet in a different co-working space. And Kindred was started by Alex Butler, who had been part of a big thing called Tech City, which was around Old Street roundabout. And what she found was people didn't take freelancers seriously. it was like freelancer is secret code for I can't get a job. And even in 2016, if you said I'm a freelancer, it would mean, oh, okay. And now if you say I'm a freelancer, it's like, that's a proper grown-up job. So I would say that that's quite a brave thing to do in 2016, sorry.
Well, it was, honestly. There were not too many representatives of the freelancers in Hungary, so I could just count on my hands how many people I knew that did the same. And it was really about that, okay, poor freelancers, it's how hard for them to get a job, how less, it's just not stable, it's just unpredictable, it's unsafe financially and things like this. But I thought that, okay, I need other choice. So the first number one priority for me was to create the life I want to live. And I knew that I want to have family. I want to stay at home with my kids when they are just small, really small. And I didn't have any other choice. So, but I really wanted to do it well. So I've learned a lot. I talked to as many people I could. I organized freelancer conference. I organized lots of events for freelancers to meet them, to learn from them. And finally, I really found myself in this work style or lifestyle because it's not for everyone, for sure. But it seems that my skill set, my characteristics are just really fit with the idea of freelancing. But it's basically creativity. You have to be quite brave. You have to be good in marketing and pretty much in sales to sell yourself, actually, personal branding. And very, very thoughtful on financials. So really just without this, if you are not a planning person, if you are not treating money well, then it's can be very tricky, the freelancing, because then it's really unpredictable and it's not fit your needs or characteristics.
That's really accurate. I'm good at all the other bits, but the money bit is like I always need help with that. So I got to know. Did you ever know Matija from Croatia, the Croatian Coworking Association?
No, unfortunately, I didn't meet him. So I've heard about Matija because I know that he made lots of efforts to create the assembly and the connections within the European ecosystem, but I didn't meet him.
When I got to know him, it must have been like 2015 or 2016 when he started to do with other people European Freelancers Week, and we went to Croatia. I was at that moment in time, I was amazed at how differently freelancing and co-working was viewed in Croatia. In England, he was like, "Oh, it's really cool. I'm a freelancer, creator, influencer," and in Croatia, it just meant something different. And he was constant, like the type of work you and I do now. He was constantly trying to explain to people that this is possible. Like you can go on the internet and get a job, and he wasn't trying to sell a cheesy dream. It was like, if you can use a computer, you could start a freelance business. And is that how you felt at that time in 2016?
Well, when I've met the idea of freelancing, I was trying to understand and just put it on the map of the world of work. And what I've just realized 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I first heard this phrase, after a couple of research, I realized that actually it's nothing extraordinary. It's just the future of work. People will just work in the same work style, in the same way in 2025 or 26 this year. As freelancers are worked back in the work style and lifestyle what they had back in 2015 or 16. So this is what I realized, that it's not something side thing from the normal way of working, but this is the future. And what happens now? what's going on here in 2026. People working remotely. They are going to the office like maximum 2 times a week or less. Most of the people, particularly in the US, they all do some side gigs. So it's pretty much like freelancers were 10 years ago. And this is what I saw then, and this is what this was the thing that gave me the braveness to just try it, because I thought that anyway, if it turns out that I'm not capable to be a successful freelancer because of any reason, it's still something what is just worth it, because this is going to be the future of work. So yes, also in Hungary 10 years ago, it for the majority of the people, it just seems something crazy to be a freelancer. But for a couple of guys who knew who just put the energy in and the effort to understand the world of work and the dynamics and the trends, those saw that this is the future of work. This is the way people will work in like 10 years, and it's not really the part when you work for more clients in parallel. It's rather the way you work, that you have your own time schedule, you have more responsibility over your results. It's not the time what you sell, but it's the results what you sell. So
you make it sound so easy.
Yeah, I don't think that nowadays there's an extremely huge difference between the employment and freelancing. Honestly, I really believe this.
I do too. I have endless debates with people, and certainly in COVID, my opinion, which is evolves over time, is I just don't function in a corporate job environment. I never ever have, and which sounds a little bit cool maybe, but it's not cool. It's like quite tricky. Then I would start to say, oh, this is everything you just said. This is the future of work. Like one of the arguments is always that freelancing and being a hired gun and an independent economic agent and working for yourself is precarious. And COVID showed how precarious, employment is. And now all that conversation, which I'm sure a lot of people listening to us are privy to, is, the way job security is just not something. Like our parents probably had a job for life, and that is just not available anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just also the whole economics is everything is just changing so rapidly, and it's of course has a relation to job security, but also the individual needs just change a lot, and society, and so, for example, in Hungary, the average time a younger person under like 35 years spends at one company is 2 years. So they are switching jobs every 2 years. And it's not like that you sign for a company and you stay for like 5-10 years or for life. It's not that. It's max 2 years now. So it's pretty similar to freelancing when you are in a project-based job, or you run 2-3 clients in parallel, but with a monthly contract. So it's just the reality.
That whole little bit there is one of the reasons I'm so enthusiastic about Urban MBA in the UK. We'll put a link in the show notes. And I studied education at university. I think it's really important. I'm always reading and learning. I just absolutely love it. And I do think university is important, but there's a difference between university to get a job that I might not like, and university as I want to be a doctor and go to university and do this. And then there's most things you can learn. You could set up a freelance practice by learning off the internet and being around, like going to a co-working, we should say co-working by this stage of the podcast, going to a co-working space, being around people, skill swapping. I've seen when ChatGPT came out, there was the Urban MBA cohort, And Kofi is always talking about AI. And I'd seen other cohorts do really, really well. And then these folks just learned how to use ChatGTP within the first 24 hours of it being available. I was in London 1 month and I saw them, and I came away and came back a couple of months later, and the amount of work they've done in 2 months on the first version of ChatGTP. And meanwhile, I have people their age, they're in university, who don't know how to use AI to do research. And that scares me. I went off on one there, sorry. But I just think people need to pay a bit more attention to how the world is going.
Exactly.
We need to segue, and you can do it now, segue into local co-working quickly in European Coworking Day, because that your view, what struck me when we were talking beforehand, is your idea of European Coworking Day in Hungary, in a village in Hungary, is the same as mine in London. So do you want to say how you think it will work?
Yeah, probably not. Probably it's different. Just one thing, just to connect the dots. As if freelancing is the future of work, then co-working is the future workplace. So I truly believe that really it's just there are huge shifts in the world right now. One and related to work, and one is the work style, the lifestyle. So the how we work, and second is where we work, because it turned out that the traditional version of workplace that we have the office and we go there every day and we stay there. We have a desk and we have meeting rooms. That's not enough. Also, home office under COVID, it turned out it's also not enough, because you don't have the interaction with people, and that has a negative impact on creativity, cooperation, and many, many other things. So what's the solution? It's the flexibility and the idea of co-working. So I truly believe in it. Regarding the European Coworking Day, so we are, I think, we part with the Hungarian Association, with the Hungarian Coworkings. We take part every year. However, we had also during springtime another initiative, what we've organized every year. I think like 6 years now. It's the Open Coworking Week. So it's the extended version of the European Coworking Day. We like to be part of the European Coworking Day because this gives an extra credibility and visibility to the things what we do here in Hungary. So we are not just saying that, okay, here it's springtime, let's visit some co-working spaces in Hungary, but we can say that, hey, there's a European Co-working Day. All the co-workings in Europe are celebrating this new movement. Let's join here in Hungary and just visit some spaces close to your home. So this is nice thing, and maybe it's different how I see here in Hungary from a smaller town, the European Coworking Day, than what you see in London. But in general, it's the same. It's for one layer is the belonging to the European community, that I'm not alone, and we are not alone here in Hungary with love of this movement, that we just want to take part and want to run our spaces successfully. But on the other hand, it just gives more visibility and more credibility to this whole story on the local level. That it's not just us, it's not just the Hungarian Association who is doing things for that week, and you can join as a co-worker, but it's a European movement.
Whenever these things come up, there's always like this temptation for people like you and me that communicate things to say, be part of something bigger. But I do feel that in co-working and in European Coworking Day, and as it's kind of develops every year with Claudius from the Swiss Coworking Association initiated it finally. We've been talking about it for years, but he made it happen. And seeing big shiny spaces in Berlin and little villages in Portugal, and a place in Copenhagen and a place in Basingstoke in the UK all kind of do the same thing is really good. And also like swapping ideas about what works and stuff. Is there anything else you hope about, like local co-working and connection? Because I feel now we can, both of us experience it. We live in a little place and people meet in a co-working space, and there's gradually this I would hope there's less brain drain over time and more people staying locally and getting to know each other.
I think it's not that huge difference. Of course, it's different than a large office building in Budapest CBD, so the city center. But in general, comparing a co-working in suburb area of a big city or a co-working in a village or a smaller city, it has the same role. So connect people, create a hub for the people living around, and this is what I feel and really enjoy here at my space. That 60% of the co-workers who are currently using the space joined at the very beginning when we opened the space 2.5 years ago. So it's maybe this is the biggest difference. What I see also within the association here in Hungary, that people here maybe a little bit more loyal to the space, as there's not a huge offering in the smaller cities, so they just cannot, they don't have that many options in the city. But on the other hand, they really belong. So they really want to be, they really feel like that this way they are part of an additional community in their city. And they really value it. Maybe they just value it a little bit more than in a bigger city, because they might have more opportunities to belong to communities, great communities. Well, yeah, this is what I see in the eJoy the most. That it's a real connection and long-term connection with people living here, because really it's in a smaller town, or particularly in a small village, you just run into each other more frequently, and it's just makes this whole connection makes this whole connection a little bit stronger.
In our 9-minute city, that's my experience too. And oddly, I always thought that existed, and I've been to places, through co-working visits and WeShare and things, where that's happening, and then to live in it on a long-term basis is I don't know, it's really special. Like exactly what you said, it's really special. Where can we send people to find you online and keep track of your universe?
The best is LinkedIn currently. So I spend pretty much time on LinkedIn these days, partly because I'm the communications manager of Coworking Europe, but I also like the platform. So it's out of all the social media channels, this is what I like the most. So anyone can find me there. Also, look at my profile, and you can just send me a message as well on LinkedIn. That's the easiest, I think.
Nice. And we'll put links to all of Szilvia's universe in the show notes. Thanks very much for your time today, Szilvia.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much to Szilvia, one of the finest co-working freelancer instigators on the face of the planet. And like we said, Coworking Europe, there's the early bird ticket is available, and there's a link in the show notes to that. There's also a link in the show notes to the Unreasonable Connection live in London, which is the London Coworking Assembly Forum, which is people who own and run local co-working spaces and from local authorities and other community groups, talking about how co-working and community connection can work in their neighborhoods and the hardcore steps they need to make that happen. And it's everyone finding the others and talking together about that. After that, we'll be at the Workspace Design Show at the end of February, our annual visit there. And Hector and Ashley are running the Coworking Alliance Summit on the 4th of March, which is an online event. So if you are like me, running the London Coworking Assembly, or Szilvia running the Hungarian Coworking Association, or Mark Navarro and Manel running Coworking Spain, get in there to the Co-working Alliance Summit. So it's everyone who's really experienced at running a local co-working organization, and a lot of people who are just starting out on that path. And it's all about competition. No, the other way around. Collaboration over competition. And the biggie, folks, is European Co-working Day, 6th of May. And we'll keep talking about that, as you might have gathered by now. So wherever you are in the world, be careful out there. It is a jungle.